Hispanic Lifestyle is pleased to have the support of Wells Fargo Bank. For more information, visit their website at wellsfargo.com. With roughly 60 million Latinos in the U.S., we highlight Latinas of influence, businesses surviving to thrive. We talk culture, travel, health, wellness, music, entertainment, and of course, food. Our passion is to share inspiring stories with the community. I'm Richard Sandoval, and this is Hispanic Lifestyle. How are you doing during this pandemic and your family and all that good stuff? Because I know that it's been a while since the show's been on the air. I think the last episode was 2019?
Yes.
Go with you, Danny.
I think that's right. We're Women's History Month, so Carla, please, you're first.
You're so sweet, Danny. We're doing good. Thank you so much. A long quarantine with my family, but really grateful that we're being able to work on this crazy time and that it worked. Everyone's safe, and we managed to make it work in this special situation that we're all living.
Yeah, so well said. I mean, Richard, thank you for having us. And, to say that these are unprecedented times, I think would just be redundant. It's been said so often. What that looks like for us, in my house is, my kids are doing, distance learning. My wife is working from home. Carla and I get tested, multiple times, 3 times a week, even when we're not on set. The crew is the same way. For Latinos, Latinxes to practice social distancing, I think is even harder because we're just so accustomed to, hugging each other and showing appreciation. And that is so emblematic of how we relate to each other, is so tactile. It's difficult. It's physiologically difficult to go through, but like Carla said so well, we feel very, very lucky to, almost be done with shooting season 3 and to be airing finally season 3 on March 16th and bring, like you said, almost a year and a half later, the Mayans back to the screen.
Was there a difficulty getting back into character and getting back into the swing of things, or did you guys already film this and you took a break and revisited?
For me, it was a little difficult, especially because of all the COVID new world and having all these new things to do on set, all the new precautions. And I think that was what took me off a little bit, but we were really lucky to have the episodes written a long time ago. So I think I got the chance to read all the episodes and try to connect to the character. And I feel like when you play a character that is really rooted in yourself and that you really can connect with the energy of that character, for me it was really easy to just go back to it. And actually it was refreshing to go back to it. I missed that feeling of the rawness of being Adelita.
And Danny, I'm going to get right into it here. Your final scene, and I'm really curious about this, is that your character leans over the charred body of the character that's your mother. You weren't grieving. You look like you were angry. So can you, again, talk about how it is you pick up after walking away from the character for a few months?
It's it's a really good question. I mean, it's like Carla says, to have the advantage of having all of the episodes written before you even step foot on stage is incredibly helpful. You know, Elgin James, our showrunner, did something I thought that was, you know, it was a boost for all of us. And what he did, which is something that I haven't seen done on virtually any shows I've worked on, is he released a sort of lookbook as to what season 3 was going to be all about. Not only in terms of, I think the first thing he had on there was a poem about the, you know, what it is to live in the borderlands, right? And then he talked about what our goals were and how we're going to be, you know, a character-driven show in season 3, which I think he achieved. And then he talked about what the show is going to look like, so that we can, in our minds, get an idea as to, you know, what the playground was that we were going to be investigating in season 3. And that had a way of grounding everything. So, you know, I think very, you know, smart, a way of truly reaching out to every actor and saying, this is where we're going, and we're all headed in this direction. That was incredibly helpful. Now, in terms of Miguel being angry after, you know, finding the charred remains of his mom, you know, Miguel doesn't have the advantage, or at least I didn't feel that he had the advantage then of showing his emotion in front of the people who he leads. You know, I think once you find him in season 3, he feels such an overwhelming amount of guilt, and he's so untethered from who he was, seeing that he's lost Devante, his consejero, his consigliere. He's lost his mother. His marriage is in ruins. He feels isolated, and he's got nobody to turn to. So he's incredibly volatile in season 3.
And Carla, your character just had a baby and you're in jail. Where do you go from there?
That's a good question. I think I'm a mom, and I feel like even the thought of that happening to me, it'll destroy me. And I think that's where Adelita is starting this season 3. She's destroyed. She's with no heart, with no emotions. She's just not showing anything. And I feel like Adelita always had this emotional, spiritual energy that we never knew what she believed in or what she was praying for, but we knew something was in there inside of her. And I think all of that is gone, and she's completely broken. And now she's like an animal. All her actions are motivated by violence, and she's angry, and she just wants revenge. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see this other side of Adelita, where she's no longer the person that tries to be calm and can kill someone and then hug another person at the same time. We're going to see a pure, raw, violent Adelita.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into how much of your character is likewise, so I really don't want to know that. You're scaring me now. My thing is that I like to promote positive images of our community, and the show is so beautifully shot. I'm sure it's got to be fun with working with all these actors who bring such depth and background. What do you tell people that aren't familiar with the show? Do you encourage them to start from the beginning? Are they going to pick up the show in season 3 and feel comfortable where they are in the storyline?
That's
whoever wants to answer.
That's a great question. Carla, do you want to?
No, please, you go.
You know, I highly recommend watching it from season 1, which is easy to do on Hulu, FX on Hulu. You can, you know, nice plug there, right? You can watch from season 1 and all the way through season 2. They're 10 episode seasons. You know, what I love about the representation on our show is not that it is a glossy representation of what we, it's not pandering to any audience, right? It is attempting to show as authentically as we can, the reality of the desperation that certain situations that happen on the border. And it's not glamorizing violence. It is taking violence and showing what the effects of that violence is on these characters, and that there is an impact to their lives. It's almost a cautionary tale. And it's a study in the systems that are involved in creating, these outcasts, these, whether it's the motorcycle club or whether it's the group of autodefensas de los olvidados, or whether it's the cartel. They're a symptom of a bigger issue, whether it's economic or political, or the demand for, drugs north of the border. It's all part of that system.
And Carla, to you, a question a little bit about a context, but this being Women's History Month, talk about the role model, the powerful. Your character is a survivor and to a degree a thriver, and keeping it all together. Would you like to talk about that?
Sure. I think there's a lot of things that we can see in Adelita about being a fighter, taking her own decisions and creating her own world in this horrible world that she lives in. Every time I get to know her story a little bit more, I get more amazed by her strength and by the power that she has and that women has to reinvent her reality because of the people that she loves. And I think that's something that she's been doing with Los Olvidados for a long time. And now that's something that she has to do for herself and for her child, is to find that strength to stand up from being in a hole and just try to find her inner warrior and keep fighting for a bigger cause than herself. And I think that's something that we as women, we do a lot. We put ourselves aside and we try to be strong and be present for the people that we love. And I think that's something really beautiful that Adelita is going to try to do this season. It's going to try to fight for the biggest cause and not letting herself just die for all her emotions.
Well, finally, again, I want you guys to do the pitch, if you will. Remind us why we need to tune in. I think it's March 16th. And tell us, and again, a little bit more about the storyline of what we can expect from both of your characters.
Me?
Carla,
Okay. I think this season is going to bring so much, sadly, joy. I don't know if that makes sense in English, but it does in Spanish. I think this season we're going to see the soul of every character, something that we didn't get the chance to see before. And with Adelita, we were used to see her as this strong, really confident and self-centered character. And this season is going to be the complete opposite. She's going to all her actions are motivated with animalistic instincts and with angry and rage, and she's just a volatile person that she was not before. She was really like, she will choose every move. So I think people are going to have so much fun trying to go with her in this journey of self-growth and self-compassion, because she lost pretty much everything already.
I think it's fascinating to hear Carla talk about Adelita, because I feel not only is Adelita, I think the sort of moral nucleus of Mayans MC, but I feel like Miguel Galindo and Adelita's storylines sometimes run parallel to each other. Certainly, Miguel, when you find him when we meet him in season 1, he's a self-assured, strategic, intellectual character, very under control with his, family, his bonds to his family incredibly intact. And when we find him now in season 3, episode 1, he is suffering. He is somebody who feels responsible for his mother's suicide, somebody who is actually looking to hold other people responsible because he can't sustain the weight of losing his mother. So he's looking to hold others responsible for something that he feels ultimately that he should have seen, that he should have prevented, that potentially he could have stopped. And that's a very dangerous place for somebody with that much power. And so that's what we'll see from Miguel, is a certain amount of implosion and acting out to make himself feel better. But really what Mayans MC is about, it's about power. It's about who has the power, who needs the power, how are they going to get it? And those who have it, how do they retain it? That is what Mayans MC is truly about.
Hey, thanks, guys. I don't want to blow the storyline because I don't believe your character actually knows who his real father is. So are we going to have, you got some brothers making light of this? Are we going to have a Scooby-Doo moment with you and Eddie Olmos, embracing and playing catch on the field?
I'll tell you what, I would love to see Eddie Olmos take off the mask like in Scooby-Doo.
Oh, I love
that. That's something I'll pitch to Elgin and see how far that goes. I just
copyrighted that whole thing. So.
What I love about our show is that our writers always find a way to paint themselves into a corner with a storyline, only to kick a hole through a wall and find an unexpected way to resolve it. So that's all I'll say is don't anything you expect, it's likely not going to happen.
Let's leave the last word for Carla. When is the show again? Remind us what time and give us that selfish plug.
Mayans MC premieres March 16 on FX, and the next day on FX and Hulu. 10 p.m., right?
March 16th, like Carla said, March 16th, Tuesday, March 16th, where we premiere at 10 o'clock. We're showing 2 episodes back to back. And if you miss it on March 16th, you could always go to FX on Hulu and catch it there.
Danny, Carla, thank you so much for making my Friday afternoon here. It's raining outside where I'm at, but you guys made it sunny.
Oh, well, thank you, Richard.
You.
Appreciate that, man.
Thanks. Didn't get enough? There's always more at HispanicLifestyle.com, and follow us on your favorite social media platform.